Or system. There it is. Wow. Okay. So, I don't think we should. I mean, okay. Let me put it this way, TK. What would you like me to focus on tonight in our discussion? I think you and I have had a discussion about techniques and survivability. So I don't know if you want me to go back into that or if you want me to go more into overall and see. I don't know what Trevor teaches you guys, but I can go into depth of how I approach the objective-based side of the game, essentially. Right. So is that what you want me to go over, or what? Or do you want to go over like survivability? Like, what do you want me to focus on tonight, essentially? I can't hear you. Hold on, it's me. One second. Okay, say that again.
What I've been trying to work on recently, the most recently is just evasion. Is what I've been really trying to focus on.
Okay, and you like I shown you that I do like oop drills, like where I go out of phase under the ISD and try and survive. I go and try and out of phase the cruisers, right? I've shown you that, correct?
Correct. Yeah. In fact, that's I did that a lot in that right after you had taught us that.
Okay.
To just practice the power management under pressure and getting used to that, and then so just lately, what I've been kind of doing is I'll jump into random dogfights here and there in just the bomber and just trying to survive in that. Just to try and
and I think so I know what to focus on. That I think I have an idea with. So I think the most important thing is for you skill wise to continue to do is try and avoid ion missiles and actually all missiles without chaffing, essentially, right? So act as if you're always under beacon conditions, and it will take a while, but then if you watch my stream earlier on, there's a moment where I had said that's not an ion missile, that's a quick lock, that's an ion missile, that's an ion missile. Like I'm to the point of this game where I know what's being thrown at me without even right. So and that takes time, but I spent a lot of time in dogfight saying I'm not going to chaff this match. I'm just going to go in there and try and survive and do my thing without chaffing, and to start to learn the ways to basically, because you can once you get to a point where you know when an ion missile is being thrown at you, you'll know essentially when to boost drift or multi-drift to avoid it. And the way I mean that is, you know when the ion missile is going to be thrown, essentially, if you have enough thrown at you, right?
Correct.
And that right before then you chaff, but instead of chaffing, what you should do is boost drift or multi-drift, essentially, right?
Sure. I can't multi-drift because I'm on console. So
okay, so boost drift.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, boost drift, right? I mean, when in a bomber, it's a little bit harder because you have to be conservative with your power in a functional way. But definitely you want to boost drift in as perpendicular a way as possible to force the ion missiles to fly behind you, essentially, right? Because you can't multi-drift, a lot harder with a quick lock. A quick lock, you have to multi-drift away. Because even if you boost drift it, it probably will stay on you and hit you. But you could trick a quick lock with a multi-drift. So more focus on ion missile. But that's fine. Okay, so you are working on that, which is good, right? That's why I said I don't think it's beneficial for me to focus on that. More so, and I played against you. And I think you suffer from the same problem some people at your level do. And I have the same problem right now with Caleb and some of the other guys, that when you are in trouble, you begin your panic sequence, right? But you're panicking to the wrong spaces, per se. And do you know what I mean by that?
Yes, and so instead of just trying to get out into a safe zone, I kind of end up just tooling around almost in the same spot.
Correct. And not only that, but it's fine to be tooling around the same spot, but you have to be tooling around in the same spot, which is functional for what you're trying to do, right? Because sometimes you do have like Yavin, for example. Yeah, you have to circle around in Yavin to be evasive, right? But you want to be in a spot which is useful. So, if you're on defense, you want to fall back towards the MC essentially and use the MC as cover to relieve you, right? But funny enough, on offense, you don't want to fall back if you can avoid it. You want to evade forward and start to use your opposing midships as the cover, essentially, right? And this is something I've been hammering Caleb on, is that when Caleb panics, and this is something that a lot of people do, when they panic, they fall back, which tactically makes sense. But you want to, if you're on offense or you want to move forward, you want to evade forward or fall forward, essentially, and find the spaces on every map where you can evade forward kind of deal, especially because you can't multi-drift. So you want to circle, but then you want to position yourself and start circling towards spaces that allow you to do your work, but also have the half cover, essentially, right?
Sure. Which makes sense, because that is something I just started toying around with, is once I get figure out who's attacking me, it's trying to, like you said, put the midship between me and them.
Yep.
As best I can, so.
Yep, and cleaning up your orbits is also another good way of being evasive. The tighter you are to the ship, the more cover you have, right? I mean, on top of that, because the closer you are to the ship, the more cover you have and the more damage you're doing, because rotary and standard lasers have fall-off damage, right? So you want to be as close to the ship as possible anyway to do your damage, but you'll also get the partial cover, essentially. So knowing how to orbit the ships, and like I'm talking through this now, but we'll do this in practice. I'm actually starting to load up a map. But orbiting the ships in an effective manner, so that you have max gun on time, max cover, and as close as distance as possible to the ship helps in these regards, right? And then practicing these orbits and then training yourself to panic into those spaces helps. Essentially. And then learning where the cover is around those ships is the next big thing, right? Nadiri is a great example. Sisyphus is another great example. Galatan, knowing where, okay, if I can't go to these ships, I can at least orbit the spaces that are near the ships. So then I can make that like a figure eight kind of, like I figure eight here, and then I figure eight onto the ship, right? And then I can use that like a figure eight evasion as opposed to just a circular evasion, right? So like knowing where you can make these different changes. Again, Yavin being a special case, Yavin, there's not really much you can do other than just get into the clouds and buy yourself space. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
And that's another thing I've been doing as well. Instead of running, I've just been kind of like turning back in towards the attacker.
Absolutely. Yep.
And that's why I've had a pretty decent luck doing that. In fact, I've been able to take down a couple doing that. So
it honestly is the best. It's the best evasion. It's a turn towards the attacker. And here's a little tip for you that I don't think everyone really contemplates when they do. Sometimes when you're turning towards the attacker and they have you locked, kind of deal, boost, drift, don't chaff, and eat it. Eat the ion. Because you're boost drifting towards them, and they're going to hit you with the ion, right? But now they have to turn in order to shoot you. You'll break the ion by then, right? And there are times where I'm like, oh, I know that they're behind me. I'm going to boost drift in a certain direction or a certain position that I'm going to take that ion anyway, and they're not going to be able to kill me, essentially. Unless there's two on. If there's two on me, then I can't do that, right? So I have to be aware, essentially, of my spacing.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to set up a game. The patch will be farm, and then we'll kind of go over these thoughts.
Yeah, and every once in a while, too, when you go, if you're doing that, sometimes you can catch the missile firing, before it hits you as well. Sometimes.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point to bring up. I mean, there's a lot, right? There's a lot that, in a way, you have to be cognizant of it happening, but in this game, because it's a server to client relationship and server has master, everything's happening a second faster than you think it's happening, right? So like a good example is supports. We always tell supports, fire it a second before the lock shows, because it's already locked actually on the server side. So if you give it the input, it's going to send it, and then the server will say it's sent. And that's true of Golos, Torps, everything.
I've noticed
farm,
that.
FA-ARM.
I've noticed that with Golos a couple of times. Just I'd fired them just early just to get it off, and they still lock on and go.
Yeah, so. And the true magic is also with MLMs. Like, you're waiting for the fourth lock, right? You can actually, like, once you get the timing down, because the fourth lock is always the longest lock for whatever stupid fucking reason. But if you time it right, you'll get the fourth lock before it locks. So, like, after the third one, I'll count 1, 2. Like, I have to visually check to make sure there's something to lock on. But if I see the fourth thing there, I'll wait for the third, wait 2 seconds, and fire it anyway before the lock occurs. Because by the time you fired it, the lock's already happened server side, and it just sends it. Right.
Okay.
So good. You do know that. So yeah, this is good stuff. You know a lot of this basic principle stuff kind of deal. Okay, let's do this. So I think some critical things you need to think of, and this is something you have to work on yourself. Essentially, and I've said this. I think I've said this to you, TK, but Mara is a very important one. Know where the farm is going to be at the open. is the easiest time to learn it. Like learn where they're gonna be open. Because guess what? They spawn in the same spots the rest of the match. And in the open, you want to rush to them just as they're crossing the safe zone and kill them, and then have a safe spot to essentially go to. Right? You want to essentially you want to have a pre-positioned flight plan to get 2 AI packs and then also be safe. So in every map, essentially, I have a game plan where I'm at midfield. Is someone locking me? Yes. I'm gonna go evasive and try and go and find a forward evasion spot where I know that the farm is gonna be. Right?
Okay. Sure.
And then I'm gonna try and get that farm as I'm being evaded. And another good tip is use your chaff offensively. And what I mean is, okay, let's say you're going a full evasive, right? And you break the first iron, everything's good. That you didn't get beacon, or maybe okay, you don't get beacon. Let's say you don't get beacon, right? And your chaff comes back up. Now you need to lock in the 5-pack. Golo is the best way to take a 5-pack. Try and use a Golo on a complete 5-pack every single time you can. But it also is helpful because if a 5-pack is complete and you need to lock the Golo, fire a chaff, lock the Golo. Why? 2 seconds. You have 2 seconds of invisibility to the ion missile, right? And then you have another 2 seconds before the ion can actually be sent, essentially. So that's 4 seconds to lock the Golo. How long does it take to lock a Golo? About 2 seconds. A little bit less than 2 seconds, in fact. So you can theoretically get a 5-pack with a chaff cover when you need it, in the open especially, right? So you want to rush as fast forward as possible, be open, so, you know, have your evasion, and then get that first 5-pack as quickly as possible. And all of these things put together, knowing where to be safe, using the chaff to allow you to get the Golo lock, firing the Golo in a safe spot where you know it's going to hit, right? Don't fire it head on if you can avoid it. Because you fire it head on, it takes a second for the Golo to prime, right? So if you fire it too close, it shoots past the pack and has to come back. Shoot it from the side or from behind if you can, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? So all these things, but you put these all together, and if you can catch that first 5-pack in 30 seconds, your team has an advantage, or is at least in the match. Because if it takes you longer than 30 seconds to catch that first 5-pack, you're in trouble. Because then the second 5-pack is now going to be another 15 seconds behind that. So now you're behind on the count, essentially, right?
Sure.
Okay. Let's go. I'm gonna go Empire. You guys go Y-wing, and let's put some of this together.
Okay.
I'll show you some. I can then after the open, I can show you some evasion patterns for the Nebulan B frigate. Honestly, for the cruisers of Y-wing, there's only one pattern, and that's doing the orbitals around the waistline essentially, and just trying to take as much stuff as possible. But the frigate essentially has 3 patterns you can orbit, and some are more evasive than others, but some have better guns on time, and I can show you that. And then shield gen runs. I am amazed at how bad even elite objective pilots are bad at shield gen runs. Us as objective players should be able to do shield gen runs from any angle with maximum efficiency. There is zero reason for us as objective pilots not to be able to do shield gen runs blindfolded, essentially.
Sure.
And I don't mean actually blindfold, but we should be able to know where we are in the spaces and make the shield gen runs. And then after we make the shield gen runs, be in an evasive pattern in a safe space, essentially. So that way we're protected. Especially because like a lot of maps at the flagships have very little cover, right? So now you need to know where the safe spaces are on the ISD and the MC to protect yourselves. So we'll go over that as well then. Okay, I think as on the offensive part, this will help you be more evasive and protected. But a lot of these also apply to defense as well, right? Knowing when to fall back into the safer spaces, evading in the safer spaces, which also allow you to do work. And we could go over this map by map, or like just kind of go over some basic principles. Let's go through this opening.
Okay.
So obviously, as a pair, it's very important you guys talk. You tell each other where you're going to be. And I like the idea of primary and secondary. So the primary kind of shot calls for the objective pilots. So if you see yourself in the same spaces, depending on what kind of pilot you are, like me as a primary, I will say you keep farming here if I see us stepping over each other, and I'll say I'm going to go to this other pack here, right? But some primaries like to be, I'm going to farm here, you go elsewhere, right? But you guys have to have that communication as a pair. You have to know so you're not farming on top of each other. Because that happened earlier tonight, right, Mayor? We were farming the same pack, and our farm slowed until I figured it out. And then when we fixed it, we won the open very quickly, right? So hi.
Hey there.
So that kind of communication is important.
I'm gonna go right.
Like it's very important as a pair essentially.
Okay.
After the opens one, just you don't have to go super hard. Let's just like work. We'll talk through stuff.
I'll go there.
Yeah, we just crossed each other, I think.
Yeah. So knowing, see, okay, I should not have beaten you guys at all, right? Right? But see, I had my first pack before you guys even had your first pack. I was already on the second pack because I knew where they're going to be in the spaces, essentially, right? So you have to start practicing these openings and knowing where the strong sides and the weak sides are, and being very quick to there. Like you have to be there at the same time as your opponents, essentially.
Okay.
I fired a goal, but it didn't fire. It didn't go anywhere. I didn't fire at all. I was on a pack.
Okay, so just check it. I mean, just check it, right? I mean, it happens. It happens with lag, so it just happens.
Right, are the pack patterns always the same?
Yes.
Right.
They will always be the same. Oh god. Not only will they always be the same, they're always going to be in the same spaces at the same time. Essentially, the pack patterns have a 45 second to 60 second pattern. So every 60 to 45 seconds, if you never touch them, they'll be in the same spaces every 60 to 45 seconds, depending on the map, essentially.
Oh, okay. Wow. Are
Um,
you in a game at the minute? Should I just join, or
yeah, it's under me. Farm is the password.
Okay.
And
And you have to be patient. I've switched to HOTUS, and I still haven't got it sussed, and I'm probably going to be all over the place.
Don't
so
worry. We're just
no ranting and raving, please.
I'm just this is not an official match. I'm talking through objective stuff with these guys.
Okay. This is Rebel. Well, hello.
Hi.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I see. Right. So it's farm.
TK here.
Okay, so yeah, so okay, another reason I know you guys need to work on I guess like knowing your positioning and pack pattern is under pressure. Under no pressure, you guys should have had this defense one in 60 seconds, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, and it's like I have it down to I have the entire match down to timing, right? So I know that by now you guys should have flipped, like, cause I when I'm on offense, I am looking for where I need to be next, essentially, right? So I'm putting myself in position. It's like right now, you guys are one pack away. I'm falling back. I'm already falling back, looking for my first pack, right?
So no pressure then, Rebel. No pressure. Gosh. Jeez.
There it is.
Well, no,
What should I be coming out as?
Whatever you want. Again, we're just talking through objective stuff.
Yeah, okay. I'll just fly about then if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's fine. But so that's but my point being is like, knowing your efficiencies, knowing like what you should be knowing when the farm is going wrong, essentially. Like, okay, how do we fix this? Are you cleaning up your 5 packs? Very first question you should be asking yourself: are you leaving any 5 packs by themselves? You should at least be having 4 dead. You shouldn't be leaving 3s or 2s. Like 3s or 2s are deadly, because the reason being is the AI spawn on a cadence, right? I think it's every 30 seconds they spawn. And they spawn on availability. So like my point being when I say availability is, if say there's like 2 out there, 3 will spawn and rush to where the 2 lead are, essentially, which is bad because it creates a situation where the AI then isn't acting normally. And why that's important to note is if you fire multi-locks at max range per se, at an AI pack, I had to go ship swap, and you fire them, they're never gonna hit if they're the chase AI. So let's say like you're at spawn, like you guys are doing great, you're at spawn, and you see 2 AI coming in, you fire emblems them like 800 meters, they're not gonna hit because they're actually rushing forward to meet their pack. And on the server side, they're much further ahead than they look. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, it's very, very important you clean up your packs for that exact reason. And that's why I also say, if you're going to fire a Golo, fire the Golo so that it's only killing 4 or 5s. And give it a second. If you see the pack is broken up, give it a second. Just give it a second to clean up. Like, you'll be surprised. See, it's waiting 2 seconds for it to clean up before you firing could mean the difference between picking up 3 versus 5, essentially.
Sure.
Other tips: make sure when you fire a goal or whatever, you count in the upper right that you see 4 or 5 break. if you didn't, you need to go back and clean that shit up.
Yeah, I've gotten into that habit quite a bit. It's just watching what the count is up in the top there.
Yep. Okay, good. So like this is like I you know, and this is good. So this is like these are basic stuff that you'll be surprised that not every objective player really like adheres to, I would say.
Oh.
Oh, fuck.
I need to read.
One thing I will say at this juncture is that not everybody, and including me, can listen to these instructions and fly. Right.
Actually, I was gonna say that.
That's why I like we're just going through motions right now. Like that's why I think it's more like I'm going through motions essentially of what to do. If anything, I think you guys should stop right now. I can show you the orbits essentially. If you want to look at my stream, just tell me when you're looking at my stream.
I'm not looking at your stream. I cannot. Well, I would have to actually.
At Twitch? No, go to Twitch. On Twitch.
Yeah. Twitch.
Okay.
That's right.
Oh wait, just tell me when you're looking at my stream. I'll show you the bomber orbits are, like I said, are way more important than NR orbits, because Y-wing orbits are, there's only one Y-wing orbit you should be doing, essentially.
I'm pretty comfortable with TIE fighter orbits.
Yeah. So okay, I'll show you a good TIE fighter orbit. Anyway, tell me when you.
Well, slow 1 second. Twitch, and is it under Rebel Pilot as well?
Yeah, the Rebel Pilot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just tell me when y'all are watching. I'll show you the orbits.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm watching McDonald's. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Oh wait.
McDonald's.
I've ads.
Yeah. I was wondering what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm watching some chick eat a
Yeah.
McWrap.
Just tell me when it's done.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
So now some fat guy with a guitar eats a banana. Okay.
Okay, so there are 3 orbits that you could do for a TIE bomber on the frigate. This I'll call the sideways or lateral orbit. Essentially, 4 points. Okay, you're gonna go across here, here, and this is not multi-drifting. I'll show you with multi-drift now. Multi-drift.
Hang on, I'm just having a
Fucking
okay, got it.
cruiser. Okay, here at the engine, here again at the engine. Okay, now I'll add it with guns essentially. So then you can see all the guns essentially to shoot. I'm gonna go behind it.
Yeah.
Right. So and then this has the most cover. Oh god, fuck me. This has the most cover. There's some lag. This has the most cover. And I go resupply myself so I continue. The one problem with that is it's 4 touch points as I just shown, right? And I'll do it again when I come back. The problem with that is it's 4 touch points. So if you don't multi-drift, it can be problematic in that you have to stall at the ends to make sure you have net positive boost. And you understand what you guys understand what you mean by net positive boost, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. You don't want to bleed boost. So the problem with this is that you'll have to stall at the ends if you don't multi-drift to make those 4 turns. I'll show it again. So I'm here. This is turn 1. You're coming straight. Here is turn 2. I'm going to multi-drift here. I'm going to boost drift here. Multi-drift here. Boost drift here. But the problem is if you don't multi-drift, you have to do it with 4 boost drifts. So here, here,
Yes.
here.
So you're always retaining your boost when you.
No. I'm just doing that just for. So what I'll do is this. I'll turn the guns.
For your net positive that you're talking about, you've always been using the multi-drift allows you to make sure that you've
You're
got
net positive because I can turn here and not have to throw back. And I'm building. You see how I'm building boost. I'm building boost right by waiting a second. Right. So I'm building boost in the reserve tank essentially in the save tank.
With the weapons, right? You're not firing, so that you can shift them over.
No. Okay. Do you see in the bottom? Here, I'll shoot some guns. Do you see like where the boost is? There's a blue bar right next to it. I call that the recovery bar. That recovery bar is usable energy. It's absolutely usable energy for the bomber. So if you wait a second, it builds up, right? That is usable energy that has to build up to be net positive.
But then how do you access it if you've shunted over to your weapon?
It comes back as weapon.
What I do about this is I switch to engines. I switch to engines for about a second. It recharges the blue bar, and then I switch back to power.
Yeah,
lasers.
You can boost gas with that. For newer players, I'm very hesitant to teach that because if you make a mistake shunting, you're dead because you're going to stall, right?
I'm confused here because if you've shunted already, then you'll even if you were to go into your engines, you won't have your boost, will you? Because you've shunted it.
Okay, I'll show you.
So
Okay, I'll show you.
Shunt back, wouldn't you?
Okay, no, I'll show you. Okay, shunt engines.
Yeah, sorry.
You see, shunt engines, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna shunt the lasers. You see that blue bar right next to it? to where it builds up, right? I'm gonna shunt
Yeah.
back for engines to boost. Go back. It's gonna build up. Shunt back to engine. Shunt back to lasers. It's building up, right? You see it building up?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
usable energy. That is why Empire is broken for shunting, because that is usable energy. That if we like half a second, it builds up, and Empire is infinite energy with this. The TIE Fighter is actually super fucking broken because of this reason. The
Hey,
TIE
but so-
Fighter is nuts because of this.
Right, but you do need to. It's usable energy. I see that, but you do have to then quickly shunt back to engines to be able to access that, or you don't. You can still use it when you're not shunted into.
No,
engines.
you have to shunt the engines to boost drift.
Right. Okay.
But it's
this is why I was
also
confused.
it's also usable energy for lasers, essentially, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have that covered. Okay, so this is orbit 2. I call it the top-down orbit.
so.
This is a 3-point orbit, essentially. So you boost up, boost over, boost down to the middle, and then boost back and do that orbit over and over again.
It's a 3. Yeah. Okay.
It's a 3-point orbit. Now, this has the most guns of time because it's a 3-point orbit. And it's easier to turn. So look how I can aim at this, basically at the back. Boost drift. I'm on it again. The whole drift. I'm aiming at it. Hold drift. I'm aiming at it again. Hold drift. Oh, shit. Stalled. Hold turn. I mean, this has... So as you can see, this has more gun time on guns than the 4-point orbit around the lateral.
Yeah. You can also strafe the sides as well.
Yes,
when you're going down.
yeah. You can go on the side and shoot the turrets, right? You want to be able to shoot the turrets. So, as you just said, the change to this is come from the side here, and then orbit this way. Now, this is the least cover of the 3 orbits I'm going to show you. As you can see, I can get close, but I won't get cover from the ships. So I'm open and prone in these positions essentially.
Right.
However, if I have no pressure on me, I'm doing this orbit hands down. Because I have so much time on guns, it's ridiculous. And like I can hit the turret 5-packer right here. I'm gonna die if I don't be careful. There's a if you hit up here at the top and you throw a goal right about here, you can get 5. You can get 4 guns at the top there essentially. So that is orbit 2. I have a video for this. I'll share the video with you. The last one, which I don't remember if I have in the video, but let me go ahead and go into this, is the most cover, but the least guns on time. But it's a good standard laser or a good TIE Fighter orbit. It's essentially the TIE Fighter orbit on the back, essentially, is what I'll show you. This is really hard.
Is this a lesson or is this a match? I thought
Lesson.
this was a game or something.
No,
right,
lesson.
I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the game is actually up in Auric. No, it's fine. In Auric.
Right.
Yeah, in Auric they're
Right.
doing the game. Yeah. Okay, so let me
Well,
show
obviously
you.
it's
Yeah. Let me show you the. Oh, I'm on defense. Well, okay, go ahead. You guys, I'm gonna flip this.
Shit.
It's fine. The problem is I'll have very little time to show you what happened here. Oh, I was not paying attention. I'm the host of this. Fuck, why is this so bad for Shut?
Oh, I've been taking out the
Yeah,
game.
it's been a really bad week for especially they even NR. It's so slow. It's crazy. It is what it is. Yeah.
Just
That's
I'm
always my gripe about Empire. It's like I love flying the Empire, but the shunt lag is atrocious.
Yeah, it's awful.
I mean, you just have to get used to it. Unfortunately, I flew a lot against the Australians and the Europeans, so I have gotten used to it in my life. I can tell when it's me versus. Okay.
Yeah, Staffy was telling me that just because I've suffered from that because I'm his way, and it's just you got to slow everything down. He said.
Yeah. Like you'll know when you need to slow everything down, but like you just said, you just gotta play slower. That's all. Be more deliberate. But it's
hard when you're under pressure and you're panicking. That's the thing, right?
I mean, you get used to it eventually, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Okay, what am I? I'm watching you, by the way. I'm not playing. I'm not in game.
Yeah.
You
have a question? I'm farming.
No, I thought you were going to do something. I thought you were going to show us something.
No, I can't do it from defense. I have to show it from offense.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll come back in then.
No, I'm about to flip it.
Okay.
I'm a really fast farmer.
Yeah. Your mind works at 1,000,000 miles an hour, doesn't it?
I'm an incredibly fast farmer. Okay, here. Okay, so go ahead and watch me again. I'm gonna go to Delta here. Okay, so the last orbit is what I call the TIE Fighter orbit. Oh my god, fuck you, shunt lag. Okay. So just get behind right here at the back of the panel here, and just orbit really tight. Okay, I'm gonna have to multi-drift because this is fucking bad. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is really awful.
Well, I thought you got used to it. You know, you've been tested now.
So yeah, so just orbit around here. But see, like I use the back panel basically for cover. But of course, the problem here is that for a rotary bomber, it's really hard to keep your guns on. But for a standard laser TIE bomber, this is easy. Or for a TIE fighter, this is incredibly easier.
That's why I stick with the standard lasers for that kind of thing.
If you have a standard laser TIE fighter or a plasmaburst TIE fighter, this is the plasmaburst orbit here. I'll show it to you. Oh my god, I should shunt. Here, I'll just do this. So you just go over the engines, and you just keep multi-drifting over it, essentially. Like this. You just keep multi-drifting over it. And then it will, if you stay tight enough, if you practice it well enough, you'll stay tight enough that you'll just always be near the engines, and you keep your guns on. I'm actually not
How many multi-drifts can you get from doing this? What's the maximum?
If I shunt away, 3. Okay,
yeah.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm too slow now. 1, 3, 4.
So you have to implement it at the right times in order to get the 3. Otherwise, you get
well,
1
you
or
don't,
2. Is it?
I mean, you don't want to spam it. But the problem is you don't want to spam it, because like if you spam it, you're not doing anything. Like you're just going in tiny little circles that do nothing, and you're bleeding away your energy. Like I could do this, right? I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, but like that's useless. Like I'm gonna get ion dunked. So you want to actually time it where it's about every second you're multi-drifting, because then look how much like my trajectory is changing. Like and like this is like basically a 90-degree turn. You want to multi-drift, so you're basically doing 90-degree turns almost all the time, essentially. Okay. Good. I can show you here. I can show you guys. Well, let me go get some stuff. Let me go get some goodies. I can show you shield gen runs and good evasion spots on the MC.
That would be good actually. So.
Okay, so if I'm getting stuff right now. If you guys are watching my stream, give me a second.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna target it up. I'm not gonna shoot this first time. I'm gonna show you the run. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So essentially, what you want to do is you want to get the shield gen about 30 to 45 degrees, so that way you can make the run in underneath the shields. Okay, like about here's good. You can get a little bit tighter. Okay, so I'm gonna come in at this side, bam, fire, boom. I can fire my guns, right? All 4 emblems will come. They'll come to the back, and then I'll swing around like this. I can make that same run on the same side to get the shield gens, same exact way. Bam, 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 bam. Sit, pull out. Right? I barely took any damage. On that pass, if I shot my guns, I would have killed it in one pass. And another reason, here, I'll show it to you. Another reason why I say go to the back of where the tail is. Lucky tractor beams. If I sit here at the back, let's say that shield gen died, I can go right over to the other side like this and make the shield gen run here. And I had the partial cover from the tail of the MC essentially. So if I need to go full evasive, oh god, fuck you. If I need to go full evasive, I can use the tail of this MC as cover essentially, just circling it like this. Making this orbit right here gives you 50% cover and makes you almost impossible to ion dunk, except if you ram it, of course. But if you can stay close to the back, essentially you can get protection from ion missiles and lasers, sweep them away, and then make the run again, essentially, if you need to. Okay. What the fuck?
You make the runs look easy, and I always struggle with it.
I so practice. And honestly, this is one of those things you can actually just go into practice mode. Now, the shunting in practice mode is slightly longer. The drifts are longer in practice mode, but that's fine. Just practice it and then bring it into the game. And just do it. Just keep practicing over and over. There was a week that shield gen one I just showed you. It took me. I came up with it like early on in the life of Squadrons, and I spent a week practicing that shield gen run. I'd go and do it, then I'd do it again. I'd do it again for an hour straight, every day for a week straight. Honestly, you don't need to do it that long. Probably 15-30 minutes a day, just practicing the shield gen run. And then just knowing...
You're coming from the front at the 20-degree angle?
Yeah, about 20-30 degree angle. Like the
and
widest...
you drift at that point, right?
Yeah,
you're holding the drift in.
Yeah,
You've got to get it right
you.
then. If you do it too late, you're into the side.
Yeah.
You do it too early, you're gonna end up getting
the
trapped.
latest you can boost that is 600 meters. So from here,
Right,
I'll show
okay.
you. Okay, so like, 500 meters is the slowest. I'm gonna have the engine stop to get there or hit it. But if you do it from 600 meters, you'll stop right on top of it. Let's see if I can use it
Okay.
again. Sorry, I had shunt lag, so I fucked that up. Here we go. This is about 40 degrees. Okay. Okay, there's 600 meters, and I'm gonna stop right on top of it. Oh, Tractor Beam caught me. Thank you, Tractor Beam. How nice of you. But like, so 600 meters is the latest you can do that to stop right on top of it. Anything closer, you're gonna have to engine stop, essentially.
Okay.
Everyone knows what engine stopping is?
Yeah, the brake.
Yep.
You put it into the engines and it stops you.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Very
if you're
useful.
if you're under 600, you might have engine stop, or you'll overshoot it essentially, or you might get lucky and the tractor beam will catch you and like put you on top of it. But
Right,
yeah,
so just to be clear, you implement the boost at the 600 and it
that's
basically
the
stops you.
latest. That's the latest you can
Yeah,
do.
the
it.
latest.
The
Yeah.
furthest out I think is about 850-ish. If you do it 850-ish, you can drag it in. The only problem is that you will be sitting at the end and you could get lit up. I kind of like
Yeah.
don't like stopping, if you know what I mean. Like stopping is
Yeah, so you
Sure,
kind of
yeah.
you're drifting in, you're brushing it over, releasing, and then you're implementing another drift out and doing your round thing or
Yeah.
evasion or
Yeah.
whatever you're
Yeah.
doing. Right.
Yeah, and like the reason I say when I mean stopping, I mean like you go to zero velocity. Zero velocity
Yeah.
is game over, right? Because then you need to do a boost skip to do your next boost drift, right?
Right,
So you
right.
have to remember that. Run it again. Wow. So that was about 700. I did it. Overshot just by a little bit because I didn't release the drift soon enough. Oh yeah, and I released the drift about like 300 or 200. Like here, 300. There, I'll stop. Yeah, I'll stop right over. So like I released drift about 300, so I'll like slow down right over it and be able to kill it. Practice that. If you can do that cleanly, I promise you, you don't even need beacons. You can make that in one run. And I am the bane of some team's existence because I will sit there and say I'm making that shield gen run by myself, without beacons, and take that shield gen, no problem. And I'm shocked. Like there's actually a lot of experienced SCL pilots that struggle with that shield gen run. They make like absurd approaches which don't really work. That's the best approach, and that's the thing that I taught Quintessence early on because she's been a longtime teammate of mine. So like her and I are like deadly as shit because her and I can make it from opposite ends without beacons and finish off shield gen. So like if two of you can do that, yeah, it's game over. It's lights out because if you lose your defenders, don't worry about it. Those shields are falling down anyway, right?
Right.
And then okay, like I said, after I make the shield gen runs, the back here, very important. Use this as cover. Try and stay as close to the back as possible because remember the tractor beams are right about where the targeting is. Anything more forward than targeting and the stem is tractor beam territory, so be careful. Make sure you strip the top. I always say strip the farmer's job on MC or ISD attack is strip the fucking strip the ship. Strip the ship of all cannons. You guys are not looking for weak spots. You're not trying to blow up power. You could be trying to blow up targeting. I leave that at your team's discretion, but it's not the most important thing. You really should be trying to take turrets. Know where your turrets are and blow them the fuck up. Because if you can strip the top of this thing before it's time to go into defense, you guys can make the call to out of phase instead. Because if this entire top is stripped, there's like 7 cannons in the back here. There's 5 cannons in the front here. That's not a cannon. There should be a cannon right here, which I killed maybe?
Yeah, it's
Just
something
be
right
clear.
around there.
Just to be clear, you're talking about bombers stroke farmers. This is their job, the turrets
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Weak points for defenders and that.
Yeah, leave weak points for your flexes. Because
Yeah.
honestly, every turret you strip is 1%. Not to mention, it's easiest for farmers to strip because you have MLMs and you have Golo. So knowing where to Golo, knowing where to MLM is important, right? And I can go over where to MLM and Golo in a second. But you can strip, like the ISD is quick. Me and Chewie can strip the ISD bottom in 15 seconds. Like we'll make 2 passes, it's gone. We're out of phase.
Is the bottom easier than the top?
For the ISD, absolutely.
I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm talking
MC
about
the top. MC the
yeah.
top.
Okay.
Do the top. Because there's...
Yeah, I've been practicing that bottom, and sometimes I can even get in there under the shields and get most of it down. And some of the practices I've been doing, and
do the top.
come up the rear.
Yeah, do the top, because also you're gonna want out of phase from the top on the MC anyway, because no tractor beams.
Right, exactly.
What else? There's less cannons to worry about. Well, I knew there's one here. There's one there.
Did you not bother with the tractor beam? You don't take it out. You just work around it. You leave.
It's really hard to see. You could take it out. But the problem is even below. I'll show you why. So there's 4 iron cannons on the top of the MC. There's 2 right by targeting here, which I killed. Oh, I didn't kill this one here. There's an iron cannon right there. I'm trying to kill. Or maybe I did kill it. And there's 2 in the back, right by the engines.
Yep.
If you kill those, then the defender can sit above this thing all day long and tether it for you. And then you can just get the cannons and you're safe. But if you go to the bottom, the iron cannons are right here at the hangar. There's an iron cannon right there, and an iron cannon right there, and then there's 2 right by the stem, on the stem somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where they are in the stem. If I can find them. That's power.
I'm surprised you remember everything else with distances and that. My gosh.
I mean, because the bottom is so dangerous because of the tractor beam.
Yeah.
And because all the cannons, there's a ton of cannons right here. There's 3 cannons on the stem, one there, and then on the same side, one there, one there. And it's really hard to strip. It's absolutely hard to strip.
Yeah.
Right? And the worst part is the turbo laser banks. There's 5 turbo laser cannons right here, which you can't golo. You can't golo those. You have to kill them one at a time. Those turbo livers don't see the top. They only see at the sides, at the waist, and below. So, honestly, I never learned the bottom because there's no reason to be down there.
Yeah.
Now, the ISD, I actually kind of memorized for a strategy we had done. So, I do know where cannon is on the top of the ISD. It was a stupid strategy we had come up with a while ago. But okay, so that's the MC. Well, we'll flip it around and I'll show you some stuff on NR now. So they got that ISD or whatever. I don't care. Actually, let me go see if I can out of phase this fucker while you guys are trying to finish this game up.
Probably could.
I believe in you. Not to mention, it's really hard to out of phase the MC-75 without a tether. Yep. Like I said, really hard out of phase without a tether. Shot me. God damn it! I thought I got the back turrets. So yeah, we'll do this again, and I'll go the other way. I'll just show you all like the little like things to look for. You know that the Golo's max range is 2K, right?
Yes.
2,000,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Okay, cool. So I'll make sure. Get the fuck out of here.
How is ISD at 22%? I don't understand.
I was gonna say. Also, once shields are down, very important thing, don't attack the shield gens anymore. Dump the fucking hull. That is a game.
Said it again.
Once the shields are down on the flagships,
Yeah.
dump the hull. Don't attack the shield gens anymore.
Okay.
And I mean this from a competitive standpoint, because once the shields are down, it should die in 30 seconds, essentially. So it's important because a good defense lasts about 45 to 60 seconds. Every shot you're not putting on hull is another second you have to play. Is another second you have to spend on out of phase. Games have been won or lost because someone wasn't dumping hull. They were attacking the shield gens, essentially. And the shield gens, when they're destroyed, only do 1% of damage. You know what's easier to kill that does 1% of damage? A fucking turret, right?
Turret, yeah. Exactly.
Because it could take you, by yourself, 10, 15 seconds to kill, like, a fully healed shield gen. That's 10, 15 seconds of hull damage you should be doing. That could win the match, essentially. And I kid you not, I've seen SCL matches lost because someone tried to kill a shield gen, prepping for a defense or for an out of phase that was irrelevant, because then they ended up in a base race. They lost because once you're on offense, you attack faster, right? So once the shields are down, dump the fucking hull as a farmer. Please, just keep dumping the hull. It kills me when I see a Y-wing or a bomber taking a shield gen, especially a bomber that could be dumping the hull. Because remember, as a bomber, when you're overcharged rotor, you're doing 1,000 damage a second. 1,000 damage a second when you're within the min range. So fucking do that damage for your team. And for Y-wing, strip the bottom. Always be stripping the bottom. And with the bottom strip, start finding other cannons to strip. Because you could be doing 1% damage every second as a Y-wing. Because you can take so many turrets very quickly, essentially. Okay, so let's go the other way. Let's just change the map for Shiggles. Edit match details. We did Sisabo. Another good one to practice for beginners is probably Esselus, because the top down orbit. This is one of the maps where the top down orbit is really hard to do, and you shouldn't do it because once it's over the station, you're gonna keep ramming into the station, essentially. Okay, let's see if you guys can beat me in the farm.
Well, I'm watching.
Esselus, you have two places to go here. If you go wide, you can use the ring, but you'll be slower to the farm. If you go tight, use the dish, obviously. I'm just trying to pick maps that also have little secrets of where to hide and stuff. Please don't be one of those guys that runs into the station. That is the worst thing you can do for your team at SCL level. I've seen SCL pilots here, like they think they're clever, they survive, and then they do nothing for the rest of their offense.
I'll go right.
Okay.
Loosen formation and focus on their fighters. Just don't be a show-off. They're locking on.
Oh fuck. Oh my god, fuck you.
They're done.
Oh, what happened?
If the pack broke up.
No, I fired my Golo and I saw it, but it never fired.
Refunded. It happens.
Yeah, it's okay. Well.
Oh, fuck you. Really? Oh my god.
What
fuck
the fuck?
that. It's fine. Just okay. Actually, Mayor, this is a good thing to learn. Know where the danger zone is, and always be able to flirt it as a farmer. Because Esselus is one of those where if you guys can forward farm as much as possible, you'll win this match. Because Esselus should have 30 to 45 second defenses. Like, you guys should get 5 packs in 30 seconds, no problem, without any pressure in this map.
Bloody yeah.
So, yeah, this is the orbit that a Y-wing should take. But, I mean, I think these guys know it. You just go around the waist here. Golo points is right here, where that missile cannon is. And then at the bottom, you want to Golo. There are 3 cannons in the front. The missile here, you want to probably hit it right behind the missile thing here. Don't Golo shields. You don't Golo shields because Golos will not destroy shields. It'll be a waste. But you should MLM shields if you can.
Do you drop in with a drift? You're just drifting in, drop down, and
You
then
could.
suddenly boost out.
You
I
could.
fly under the shields and destroy turrets and fire the goal onto the shields.
Yeah, you could just be
Yeah.
careful with that because if you fire it too close in the wrong spot, it won't kill enough. I fucked that up.
And it does damage to your hull as well. Is that correct?
No, it
If
doesn't.
you're- if
There's
you're
no friendly
close.
fire.
The
There's no
Gola?
friendly fire. There's no
Oh,
friendly
okay.
fire. See, I only got 2 there, right? Because I fired it in the right spot because it was like... It was in a weird spot. The problem with going underneath the shields is, like, the splash is weird, so it doesn't always hit all the splash, essentially. Let's see what you guys... So, like, you guys actually... You have a pack that's center back, so you missed one coming in. I'm looking for your other
Yep,
pack.
I see it now. I come in.
Well, we're doing that. We are watching your stream.
Oh,
We're
okay,
not
okay.
really
Oh, okay.
farming.
I didn't know if you were farming or not. I mean, honestly, for Y-Wing, that's it. Just orbit around the center and just stay as tight as possible. I've seen players in a Y-Wing panic to not that. I honestly, there's like very few maps that's not the right answer. As a Y-Wing, like basically, if you orbit, wait, sorry, what the? Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. That's why. Basically, if you just go in, just be careful, obviously, because Escalade Station is very low here. But if you just go in and orbit like this, just, stay close, like right about here, and I just do what I call an I orbit, like this. Okay. Like, you'll be impossible to hit. Because if I do that, if I stay tight there, the only way they can disable me is if they sit back here and just follow my orbit and then throw an ion missile. But then by that point, I'll be tracking it, I'll chaff it, and then I will actually go into a different evasion pattern. Like, if they're sitting behind me trying to kill me, then I will, like, you know, I will use Escalade Station or I'll start closing in on them kind of deal. Sucks. Where is the 5-pack that's supposed to be high here? There it is.
Close one. Incoming missile.
Oh yeah, there's a lag. It's bad.
Yeah. You guys know that, oh look, it refunded me my MLMs, thank you. You know that if, AI, when they go close to anything, including yourself, they'll break up, the packs will break up, which slows the packs down slightly, and then also, changes your trajectory just slightly, so they'll come off path and then come back off path. So sometimes, if you're expecting a pack to be somewhere, it's most likely because it hit the station. It hit something like the station or whatnot.
Yeah.
So
But does that also mean that you need to be careful not to get too close? Because if you do, when you're trying to lock on, getting ready to Golo them, if you
It
end
will
up
fuck
getting a
up
bit
your
too close,
Golo.
they will split. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
you don't want to be the reason that a pack broke up.
Right.
That 2-pack. That's a 2-pack I didn't clean up. There actually should be. Yep, there they are. There's one. There's two, and there's. Where's the third one? Where's the third one? There should be a third one. There it is. Nope, that's not it. That's a different pack. But I was counting off the, because I killed 2, so I was looking for the third one to come back essentially. Okay, there's a 5-packer right here. This should be flip. Always shoot for the center ones, obviously. Like you can aim for any of the center 3 ones. Don't shoot the end ones at the top or the bottom, or the left or right for Empire. Fuck you for breaking up. There we go. Okay. Yeah, practice those orbits. Practice those orbits. Who is that?
I brought down a Nebulon from 15
Yeah.
a couple days ago.
Yeah. Mare, get
with-
closer.
With support.
Get a little bit closer, Mare. You're like, well, I mean, I know you're out of phasing, but you were too far on that last orbit. You want to be, if you could try to be around like Like 5 to 400, that'd be great. That's like ideal.
Got my mark.
'Cause I think the min range is 400. That's where you have max damage. What the fuck?
Oh, for firing your Golo, you mean?
No, for guns, for guns.
For
Oh, for guns,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
So yeah, keep your orbits as tight as possible for the bomber. That's like, it's like once you like practice those, try and keep your orbit like around, like I said, 600 to 400 is the ideal range. I would say any closer is kind of hard to keep the orbit going, but if you could, I mean that's amazing. Otherwise, and any further, like if you're at 800, you're losing damage at that point. 1,000, you're definitely losing damage. Like 1,000's too far, and you're not getting any of the cover bonus, right? Like a part of the reason you're doing that is for cover bonus. So 1,000, you're getting 0 cover bonus.
How did fucking Nebulon kill me?
There's always the one laser. It always has one laser. It protects itself. So remember,
No, but Nebulon killed me. I wasn't even there. I was at the cruiser.
Oh, you're at the cruiser?
Yeah.
Lag?
I was shooting at the frigate. Nebulon killed me.
Lag?
Don't know. Weird.
We're 22 minutes in, so they're pretty close to each other. The danger zone's actually closer than you think it is. But I know what you're saying. You were pretty far. I don't know. Lag. That's all I can say. It was probably lag.
There it goes.
Back in a sec, just gonna pop to the toilet.
Yeah. What? Get the fuck out of here. There we go. That's dead.
They're locking on.
Pretty sure time bomb is pinging me. That's probably what I'm hearing pinging me. In
Splash one.
and then so like next week I'm gonna have a good PowerPoint that will show a lot of the farming patterns and paths. It's not 100% ready yet, so I haven't released it, but that's something like, but like I said, you should just really go in and study some of this stuff. That's what a lot of us have done, just study the patterns and paths. So this way we have an idea of where everything is at all times. Okay, that's gonna go forward. Okay, so I'm gonna do. Oh. Okay, so Y-wing on offense. Oh God, there's still another ship. Jesus Christ. Die, you piece of shit. Okay, after this cruiser falls, I'll show you guys some good spots and some good attack angles to take in as a Y-wing. So you might want to look at my stream again after the ship falls. Okay.
Golos do affect shields.
3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go. Okay, so shield gen runs is usually up to the X-wings and the U-wings, but you guys sometimes have to make these shield gen runs. If you're making shield gen runs, then the call is to kill, right? So you don't want to be too easy to kill. A good way to do that is come over the top like this, have someone chasing you, come down below behind the hangar, and now you should be able to come up on the far side. Bam, right here, and make a clean run up the side like this. And then I can hit that with 4 and a Golo. If I had a Golo.
And you're going behind the hangar because you're trying to avoid the tractor beams, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And once you're here, start doing orbits like this. You essentially want to keep this orbit as tight as possible around the shield gen without bonking the upper bridge. Right? Look, see, like, this is gonna be very hard for me to basically be killed because I'm gonna continue the orbiting like this, and I'm gonna keep my strafe runs on this. This is actually the Plasburst orbit. So if you could do this, you could do a Plasburst.
Yeah.
And this is really hard to get killed by. They'd have to sit behind the ISD, and basically just keep you locked up, and then iron dunk you from behind, which takes a while to set up. If they do that, let's say someone is iron locking you and they got a clean lock, then you can come around here like this, around the ISD, around the neck, here.
Right,
This will give you full cover, essentially.
Break the
Try
lock.
to do around those kinds of orbits around both shield gens.
You should be able to do it around both, but like, I try to keep it tight to one, like this. Basically, it's the Plasburst orbit, like this. Bam, bam, bam. Because I use the shield gen as my cover, essentially. The shield gen is my cover at this point. Like I said,
it's difficult to get somebody when they're in their rhythm with that.
Yeah. And if I had a Plasburst, this would be dead already. Bam. Can I do this again? Like, I will tell you this now. That takes a lot of practice to get that. I'm not going to say that's easy. This is the best orbit, essentially. Because you have to know your spacing like that. I fucked up, and I knew it the moment it happened.
Yeah, you do it so that you think that your nose is going to actually hit, but it doesn't. It drifts round.
Yep.
You just get used to it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep, got it.
You have to aim just like a ship length away from the shield gen over the edge, and then turn into it to shoot it, and then
And very importantly, a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't do that, yada yada yada. I don't multi-drift." Blah, blah. I'm not multi-drifting during any of this.
Yeah.
And X-wing will have to multi-drift because they can't be net positive with this. A Y-wing can do this.
Zero throttle.
Yeah, with zero, you have to have zero throttle. Yes, you do have to have zero throttle, but a Y-wing can do this without multi-drifting because we have so much energy build. This is gonna always be a net positive for us. So we have net positive energy essentially when doing this.
What engine have you got then with the Y-wing?
Jet.
It's jet, right?
Anyone who says slam is selling you snake oil.
I'm pretty sure I use a jet, but it's faster cadence that you've got to shift over quicker than an X-wing. You can do it longer.
Yeah. Oh, you have to be like not instantly spamming it, but like within a second you're changing over. Okay, and the reason I say they're selling you snake oil is because if you can't multi-drift, slam is gonna get you killed. Because if you don't multi-drift if you don't multi-drift, then slam is gonna get you murdered. Because you can multi-drift and slam and do what I'm doing with the jet engine. And
I think
you'll be fine.
Because slam is the right engine for the TIE bomber, people think that it's the same engine on both bombers, but it's not true.
Correct.
I found at least it's not true. Jet engine on the Y-wing is essential.
Yeah. It makes Y-wing. It actually makes Y-wing super broken. And I say that because, like, honestly, the best tethering ship in the game is the Y-wing. Because you can make a mistake in the Y-wing tethering and you'll be fine. You'll come out of it with with energy to burn, essentially. The mistake that people make is, I'll tell you this, good thing we're talking about this right now about net positive. If you have an ion lock on you, start boost skipping. Do not boost gas when you have an ion lock on you. So if you know an ion missile is coming your way, boost skip. And the reason I say that is, if you get disabled while you're boost skipping, your power will be in engines. And while you're disabled, you're actually building boost power. The reason people die when they're in jet engines and why they swear against it is because if you get disabled with it away from engines, you will burn power. So while you're disabled, you actually can build energy by keeping your power in engines, and then when you get disabled, you'll be building power during that time, essentially.
Yeah.
But just clarify, when you say the difference between gasping and skipping, and I know you probably covered this many times, but with the skipping, is that when you're in the engines and you're literally just zero throttle and you're just boost, drift, boost, drift, boost, drift? Yeah, okay. And so you suggest you do that when you've got an iron on you, not the gasping where you're shifting out.
Yeah, if you know you're getting iron, if you're getting iron, just start boost skipping. And think about it, because if you get hit, your shields are gone anyway. It didn't matter how much shields you had; they're gone, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then once you're clear, then start boost gasping to get your shields back. Okay. Throw a Golo at the hangar between the tractor beam and the ion cannon right here. That will kill 3 cannons. The tractor beam should have died, I hope. If it didn't, I'm gonna be very mad. Can't see because of how much debris there is. But if you throw it at the right spot between the tractor beams and the ion cannon, you'll destroy the ion cannon and the far laser bank. And the tractor beam.
What distance are you doing this?
Any distance. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But do you not have to worry about people possibly shooting that down or not?
They're not shooting it down. If they're spending their time shooting your Golo down,
doing their job, right?
They are doing, that's a waste of their fucking time.
Yeah.
Another Golo spot here after you get the front. There's 2 cannons. There's 4 cannons in the back. There's 2 on each side. Hit it between the 2 cannons. Bam. Both of those are going to go down right now. There they go. Gone. And if you do it the other side, there's the other 2 cannons. This ISD is now stripped. The bottom is stripped. I can sit here all day now. There was one other cannon which I didn't call out, but it's right between power and
the
hangar. Yep.
Yeah.
At the center right there. I already killed it. That's why I didn't call it. Oh.
Yeah.
Fuck you, tractor beam. I thought I killed you. Anyway, you're dead. Okay.
Well, there's 2 tractor beams, so you have to, I guess, fire 2 Golos.
Yeah. So the Golo is between.
Or you split it.
Yeah. So the Golo, don't fire the Golo between the 2 tractor beams. Fire the Golo again between the ion cannon at the hangar and the front tractor beam in front of it. And you'll get the ion cannon, the far wide cannon that's to the right and left of the hangar, and then the tractor itself. And then don't forget there's one more cannon in the front, right about
just
here.
in
Which
front
I
of that little divot, right here.
Yeah, I killed it already, but it's like right there
done.
somewhere. Yeah. But
It's
look,
very economical.
like
That's for sure.
I could sit here all day. Like you guys can flip this, and now I'm safe.
Yeah.
Because there's only one cannon hitting me right now, and that's the invisible cannon that's always on top of you. I mean, okay, to be fair, there's 2 other things. There's a missile launcher here, but whatever, I can avoid that.
Right.
And a missile launcher in the front as well, but again, I can avoid that as well. I don't care too much. Once you've taken...
Isn't there a missile launcher? Yeah, next to
in the front.
Between the hangar and the...
Oh, yeah, there's one there as well. Yeah, whatever. That's how much I care about them. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Other good Golo points, if you've gotten the bottom stripped, the turbo laser banks, of course, if you hit them right between the eyes, between the 4 of them right there, you can kill 3 of them, and then you can clean up the 4th one. That's 4% damage right there. Another Golo spot is the other turbo laser bank. Put it right here between, kill 3, get the 4th. That is another 4%. That's 8% damage right there.
It's a quadruple laser bank.
Yep. The quad. If you get all 4 of those, that's 8% damage. Oh, sorry, all 8 of them, that's 8% damage. And then the next Golo spot on the top is at the front, there's 2 cannons right here, and there's 2 iron cannons right here. One is already dead. If you Golo right behind the iron cannons, right about here-ish, where this riser is, so like right about here where the riser is, you can get all 4 cannons. The next spot is right by targeting. There are 3 cannons right here. 1, 2, 3, and 2 wide right here on the riser. I think if you hit it right about here on the targeting, you can get 5 cannons. And then the only other important thing to get is probably the iron cannons on the second riser back here, right there. 1 right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one's on the other side. And that's my strip pattern. Get bottom, get turbo lasers, get the front iron cannons, get the back iron cannons, and then whatever else I can find. Don't worry about targeting, don't worry about power, that's Flex's job. Don't worry about weak spots,
Right.
those are Flex's job. If you're in trouble, besides the bridge, other orbit points are the back triangle tips here of the pizza. So if you're in trouble, you can use this back triangle tip here as a small evasion point. Right here. So if you orbit this, it's a plasma. This is another plasma burst orbit. Right here. You can orbit right here, and you'll get partial cover essentially. And on the other side as well. Another easy one, of course, is on the front nose. This is a plasma burst orbit as well. Funny enough, plasma burst orbits have high evasion. Right here at the nose, just right here. Go ahead and go nuts. You can avoid a lot of fire this way. And then, as I said, up top, use the up top bridge to cover you, essentially. And yeah, that is a lot of. Besides using terrain, that's the best way to be evasive.
Empire's locking onto me.
Yeah.
Great.
But this was a lesson on evasion, and I thought was joining a game. So
I wouldn't. No. I don't want to say it's evasion. I want to say it's aggressive play, right? That's why.
Okay.
That's how I want to position it, because I say this. I say this for everyone. You should always be doing something that is getting you towards a win. On defense, it's moving the morale bar forward. On offense, it's doing objective damage of some kind or buying time to do the objective damage, right? One thing that a lot of us are now doing at highest level SCL for the Y-Wing is the Y-Wing PKs the bombers coming in. Because if you kill the bomber, that is probably you bought your team 15 seconds essentially. Right? Now you're not doing objective damage, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Because the reason I say that is, remember I said before, Y-Wing should always be turret stripping? If you're on second offense and both of the cruisers are already turret stripped, you're not going to be adding that much more damage to those cruisers. Because standard lasers are pretty bad, right? But if you kill a bomber on that second offense, you buy your X-Wings 15, 20 more seconds. That's 15, 20 more seconds. You can do an ISD shield gen run, essentially. Right? And if you're really fast, maybe it's enough to set up an out of phase, and you can win a base race that way. Right? So you have to be thinking about what is happening and where you're adding the most positive benefit. First offense, turret stripping, because you're adding 1% damage per turret, and you're allowing the out of phase to be easier. Second offense, PK the bombers before coming in, but be positioning yourself in to move into the ISD, right? But picking a bomber in second offense is pretty useful for the Y-Wing to be doing, because you're not adding damage to the cruiser. But definitely don't forget you have a job to turret strip the ISD when that occurs, essentially, right? But think of these little optimizations, essentially, in your gameplay. Look at your gameplay and say to yourself, did I do the most I possibly could in the game? Was there a time where I sat there with my, just twiddling my thumbs, waiting for something to happen? What should I have been doing then, right? So, and then figure out how to be evasive in those spaces to do those jobs to win the game, essentially.
Cool.
Got it.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I hope this was helpful.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes, it was. Thanks.
Yeah.
And Mayor, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but one thing I've told TK is just go in a Y-Wing and sit below the ISD and just out of phase orbit, tether it and try and stay alive as long as you can. TIE bomber.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that video of yours, and I practiced that. Yeah.
Okay, good. The TIE bomber. I will say the TIE bomber is a lot harder. I would practice with a TIE fighter or a TIE defender. But the reason I say this is to clean up your power. So do with the TIE fighter if you want to clean up your shunting power, making sure that you have your cadences down. But honestly, the boost gas wing is harder, so definitely doing it with a Y-Wing or the TIE defender in those spaces, so that way you're clean. Because if you can do it under that pressure, then you can do it under a lot of other different pressures, right? And having clean power is critical to winning matches, essentially.
And just to be clear, with the ISD rebel side, you'd be tethering on the bottom, and if when you're Empire, you'd be tethering to the top. Of
Correct.
The MT-75. Right.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Cool. This is something you have to work out with your team as well. Just saying, like, and it's funny because I'm playing right now in the Sabak tournament, right? Just saying it, funny enough, can mean nothing to the team, and you'll be sitting there tethering while your team is defending, right? So, you guys having the skill sets is important, but make sure when you're making these calls, your team understands the call, right? Otherwise, it's pointless because if you're tethering and your team is defending, you're not helping win the game. And granted, you might have made the right call and you should be out of phasing, but if your team is not out of phasing with you, then it's useless, right? So I mean, just again, be mindful of using these skill sets because just using them without context is useless, essentially.
Right.
Without communication.
This is about communication, exactly. So.
Yeah.
And practice.
Yeah, I honestly
As a team.
Teamwork is the most OP thing you can do in this game. I'm not even kidding. And today's match, if you go back and watch today's match of the Sabak tournament, that is proof in the pudding. On paper, we had the better team. But in practicality, it was a gigantic disaster just because there wasn't enough synergy between the different moving parts, essentially.
I'm glad because Coruscant Shift is my team.
Yeah, no, but this is why I'm saying this, right? You guys, as a team, were more effective, and you used the different parts in the right ways to maximize your times and your efficiencies to win the match, right? So this is what I'm saying.
And our best player didn't even play, Radiac. He didn't even play.
Yeah, Radiac wasn't even there. Funny enough, on paper or in 1v1, Nathan's the better pilot than Trevor. But Trevor absolutely took advantage of Nathan and knew how to abuse his emotionality to win you guys that match. I promise you. Nathan, Trevor, Witch Doctor, your entire team was synergistic in your approach. And you guys, Marcelo was attacking the right players at the right time where he knew he had enough space, even though he didn't have an ion missile, right?
Yeah, I think that's because Trevor made us practice, and we practiced, and they practiced us together as well.
Correct, and that kind of synergistic approach is important, right? So I'm saying having all these skill sets, just because you're a great player doesn't mean you're a great team player. So it's very important that you apply these as a team, and as a farming pair, I cannot stress enough how important communication is, because if you're farming on top of each other or you're doing the same job, you're wasting oxygen and time. Right, and I guess I'm hammering this because I have flown pilots who absolutely are the worst communicators, and we're some of the best pilots in Squadrons. But then we're just terrible as a pair. Meanwhile, there are pilots I've never flown with who are also great, who's a great communicator and a great teammate. And I'm talking about Rod in particular. I flew with Rod a handful of times, but me and Rod can go into a match and we'll dominate the airspace from objective. Because he communicates well, we work together, we're synergistic. We understand that there's a synergy to this, right? So it doesn't matter if you're good if you're not working together. And that's a very important part to work on with your teams as you go back to your teams, essentially, right? And I really can't stress that enough because you guys may come out of this, work on your stuff, and become like great objective players. But if you're terrible teammates, it doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't.
True, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yep. Cool. I just want to say that as closing. But thank you guys. Thank you for the time. I really appreciate it.
You got it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Evening, guys.
See you later.
Have a good night.
Cheers then. Bye-bye.
Bye.